They are making a difference on 938 Live.
Imagine a whole hospital being transformed into a performing arena for one day. Well, it's happening at SGH on the 31st of October. That's next Friday for MusicFest at SGH. We find out more about the festival from Mumta Ibrahim, Manager for Community Relations at SGH.
MusicFest is really part of this international French festival called the Fête de la Musique, which is a global movement which aims to bring music to every corner. So you will actually find music in a cafe, museums, schools, and everywhere. So last year, Sing Theatre actually approached us and asked if we would be keen to bring Fête de la Musique to Singapore. We agreed readily because it's about bringing music to the people and providing artists opportunities to perform at places which are not traditional musical venues. So what is MusicFest? MusicFest is actually about bringing music to all corners of the hospital, which are not concert venues, such as the chemo room, wards, the clinics, etc.
You know, you think of hospitals and you think that it has to be quiet so that the patients can rest. And do you guys think you're disrupting the silence and that might irritate some of the patients?
You know, staying in a hospital is very stressful for everybody, including patients and their caregivers. And if you look at studies shown abroad, creating a very soothing environment actually helps in the healing process. So what we try to do is we want to create an environment which helps in the healing process, because as a healthcare institution, we are not only treating the body, but the soul of our patients as well. And music is a great platform to bring happiness to them.
So what kind of music have you guys chosen to do that?
Okay, in this case, we are not having rock music. What we are having is very much some pop music. We are going to have some kucheng performances. We are going to have choir. These are more interesting and performances which you will not see in a normal hospital setting.
Who's performing?
For the evening concert itself, we will have Sebastian Tan from the Broadway Bing fame, George Chan, Kat Ong and Anne Hussein, who will be doing their abridged ABBA Esplanade performance. I'm not sure whether you heard, just last month they did a ABBA performance which was a solo. So we are actually bringing the abridged version to SGH. Of course, we have the AHA Entertainment, several groups several schools like SIDA, Kucheng Ensemble from the Pei Chai Secondary School, beatboxing from ITE boys, our own medical students, and of course upcoming stars like Laurent from the Octo 1 Minute of Fame, Flame of the Forest, just about many others.
Now, this isn't the first time that you guys are doing this. Was there something from last year's response that made you want to bring it back?
Yes, of course. Last year we had very positive response from the patients, visitors, and of course the staff as well. So when this opportunity came to do this for the second time around, we really jumped at it because this is really a part of a global movement. Not sure whether you've heard, Fête de la Musique is something that originated in France. Basically, you bring music to every corner, so in cafes, in libraries, in hospitals. So essentially, we have brought this to Singapore, and we have opened up the hospital as a platform for artists to come and perform their music for patients, caregivers, visitors, and of course the staff.
Is the general public invited to this as well?
Of course. Some of these places are actually public, with public access. So you're talking about Block 5, which is just opposite the Kopitiam, Block 7, which is actually very near the cafe corner. So we have little niche area where the performers will be parked, and this is where they will be performing to the audience who will essentially watch them.
You see, I find that interesting because you're inviting the public into spaces that they would never, ever step into unless they had a reason to be there. And usually it's an unhappy reason to be there. So by creating this kind of dynamic, by inviting the public in to interact with the rest of the hospital staff and patients and other visitors, what kind of atmosphere are you hoping to achieve?
Okay, like I said, the hospital can be a very stressful environment for patients, caregivers, and so on. So all the more we want to create an environment which encourages the healing process. So you have the public coming in, and then you have staff, you have the family members, you have the caregivers, you have patients all watching a 9-year-old girl performing music. And I think, you provide them an opportunity to sit and watch an entire performance. I think that is something that is very, very meaningful. I just want to give you an example. Last year when Music Festival took place at the National Cancer Center, we had Jonathan Leong performing at the chemotherapy room. And we had this instance where there was a patient who had just undergone chemo and was sitting by very tiredly. So when Jonathan Leong approached her and played his guitar to her, just after a few seconds, she stood up and danced to his music. And that was really a very poignant moment, because here everybody was looking really sad and solemn. And it was a very nice touch. She stood up, she danced, and everybody started clapping, and it was really a very joyous occasion for most of them there. So I think it is moments like this that we want to create, and I think MusicFest has achieved its objective.
And that was Mumta Ibrahim, Manager for Community Relations at SGH, telling us all about MusicFest at SGH happening next Friday, the 31st of October. If you'd like to find out more and check out the lineup, do log on to SGH's Facebook page. This has been They Are Making a Difference. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daphne Lim.
They are making a difference on 938 Live.